Fantasy Football Show.
Hello everybody, welcome to Planet Sky FF, the show each and every week that revolves around Sky Fantasy Football. My name's Suj.
And my name is James.
Mid whatever game week it is in Sky, I think 28 or 29, something along those lines. And my chances have been ruined with this stupid postponement.
Oh dear, that was
Yes.
a bad start to overhaul planning, wasn't it?
Yeah, not just for me, I assume for a lot of people that had City assets and were ready to move away to Liverpool and then not go back.
Yes, I think my intention... Well, in fact, let's clarify. What did we start with in terms of Man City personnel in our overhaul?
I had three. Kevin De Bruyne,
Wow.
Riyad Mahrez and Aguero. Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez and Aguero.
Because you were looking to steam into it
Yep.
and then come off, weren't you? Such was your faith in West Ham.
Correct me, I'm wrong. I had Aguero and Mahrez. Sorry. I didn't have Kevin De Bruyne in the end. Fair play. Yeah, so I had Aguero and Mahrez.
I went for just Kevin De Bruyne, and my thinking on that was I was going to want to come off Manchester City personnel pretty much straight away to sort of jump the Leicester fixture. Then they've got a blank, and then think about coming back on for their game week 29 fixture at Old Trafford on the Sunday.
Yeah.
So I was, it was like 4-1s going and stuff like that. So I was thinking, look, I definitely want a captain for the fixture. So in terms of not getting the team news, KDB is going to be the most reliable for me. He's also going to be by far the most owned. I just felt that was simple. I wasn't comfortable doing just the one, but I couldn't justify, I think, having another one and not captaining them when I was going to get rid straight away. So from my planning perspective, I just went for KDB. And it just means juggling things. For you, it's a little worse. So what are you thinking?
And also, I didn't captain Richarlison. I went with Deeney. So that's been a double kick in the teeth. I haven't even looked at the leaderboard
Just
to
to
see what
clarify,
my rank
that's
is.
Troy Deeney, not Luca Deeney.
Deeney, 18,000. So it's not actually been that bad. I've had a rank rise. How the hell did that happen?
Well, because I guess there's going to be a lot of deads out there who've done nothing. So
didn't get any Richarlison coverage.
What points are you on?
For the week, 27 at the moment.
For who?
Richarlison and Deeney, and then Henderson.
Oh,
and
so you did
Baldock.
get Richarlison, but you captained Deeney.
Yeah.
That's a strange choice.
I don't know. I don't think so. I thought Watford would do the business at Brighton, and to be fair, they played well against Brighton. Brighton defensively have been ropey as hell. I thought Watford had the opportunity to get out of the relegation zone and would be really supercharged to go in there and stick the boot in, which they didn't, obviously. I also have to admit that I probably wasn't fully sold on this revival of Everton under Ancelotti. Like, I believe they've been better, but I didn't know if I was fully in on thinking that they'd turn the corner completely. But looking at it now, I think there's no arguments that they're doing well.
My decision on Richarlison, which I need to think about because it could change now, but my decision was to get him in, captain him, and my intention was to keep him. Pretty much,
I'm keeping him as well.
Pretty much up to until I've got information of match day 31, where I think I might need to use him as a captaincy option against Norwich as well. Richarlison's proven over a long time that he can return against the better side. So my decision, I think, unlike a lot of others, was actually I'm getting him and I'm keeping him. Now, because of what's happened with KDB, I might need to reassess what I'm doing with that and dump Richarlison instead, possibly. But my original instinct is that I'm just going to keep through here with Richarlison.
Yeah, I was going to turn my front line upside down and inside out. I was going to get rid of Riyad Mahrez. I was going to get rid of Aguero. And I was going to get rid of Deeney after this weekend. Incoming was going to be Raul Jimenez, Mo Salah and AN other. And now I don't know if I should... Selling Mahrez and Aguero before the West Ham game, does it make sense? But I can't go from Deeney to Salah, and I definitely want Salah, so I have to get rid of one to get who I want in. I don't know here. I'm a bit. I'm not at that point where I'm sod the game and I'm never going to play this again. But I do need to start thinking about what I'm going to do in terms of changes here.
It could be worse. You could be like many Diddy, who was 44th in the world going into the weekend. I believe he's now 29th. Who picked
44. He went to 29.
Yeah.
Okay.
But wait for it. Picked a whole team of players due to play on the first weekend. He went for Callum Wilson, Calvert-Lewin, 4 Sheffield United players, and 5 Manchester City players.
The 4 Sheffield United, 2 defenders and a goalkeeper, and they didn't keep a clean sheet. So that was a real kick in the...
Actually went for Lundstrom, who come on and scored.
Kicking the goalies.
He's got good captain returns there from Calvert-Lewin and Callum Wilson. But yeah.
I would hold that team now. I'm actually thinking, do you know what? I'm going to...
Well, how can you hold that? You're going to go through the whole weekend?
No.
4 fixtures with no captaincy?
Sorry, let me be a bit clearer. I would just make sure that you got a captaincy coverage for Friday. Well, he hasn't got... It's 4 days, isn't it? This is what's a bit of a kick this week. 4 different captains you need. Maybe leave Friday. Make sure you've got Liverpool for Saturday. Skip Sunday and get Chelsea. I don't know. It's a tricky one now.
My plan, and I think a lot of people will be in this situation where they've got 1 Manchester City player. Now, to clarify my overhaul selections, I'm happy to share it. I went for Henderson, Van Dijk, Trent, Pereira and Siyunku, De Bruyne, Richarlison, Traore, Grealish, Ings, and importantly, and I'm pleased I did change this, I went for Salah. Mm-hmm. I was originally going to go Aubameyang, with the idea being wait till later in the week to decide whether I was going Salah or Mane.
And sell De Bruyne and get...
I wouldn't... there's others who have gone down a similar route, I think, and are now thinking, well, I was going the Man City player to Liverpool. What do I do now? Do I just skip it?
No.
But if you've got a VVD and a Trent...
That's true.
I think, my instinct would be...
Do nothing.
Oh, it's tough because it's Norwich away. My instinct would be skip it. Because my thoughts were, and still are, obviously Liverpool's next league fixture after Norwich is the West Ham fixture, which is on the Monday night.
Correct.
So, for example...
If anyone's got a spare ticket to that, by the way, let me know. I'd love to go to Anfield to watch that game.
My thinking once I'd made my final selection was following... the Liverpool fixture on Saturday was to make 2 transfers, and it was to lose KDB and Salah to Aubameyang and Tammy Abraham to then give me Monday coverage as well. Mm-hmm. And then that would give me 2 fixtures of Abraham and Aubameyang over Salah and KDB. So I'm still probably dumping Salah following Saturday. I just need to decide now. I think what I'm going to end up doing is skipping Aubameyang.
Yeah.
Because I've got Grealish as coverage for Sunday. Just go with that. So I think I'm going to end up going Salah to Abraham, leave KDB for then the Wednesday captaincy and the Leicester fixture, and then probably move him to what my next plan was, Raul Jimenez on the Sunday. I just need to figure out which way I'm going to do it because I don't really want Abraham knocking about in there too long, but I want to get him because he's going to be the best, I think, option for Monday night. Having looked at Reece James and Fred and Scrimps, and what I wanted to be in a position was I was able to get to it, but not locked into something that I didn't necessarily want, which is why in the planning for what I picked overhaul-wise, that's the game that I left out. With the idea knowing that I could come off Salah, KDB, and get 2 Chelsea fixtures to make up for it. Once I've seen the team news, essentially, on Monday night.
Yep.
What are you thinking now? Because your situation's worse, mate.
It is quite bad, but it's a couple of things I would say to any managers that are out there that feel pissed off with what's happened and disheartened. Ultimately, look, I was never going to win the whole competition anyway, but I did think this weekend I wanted to make up somewhere between 40 and 50 points on people, and that's not going to happen now necessarily. I'd had 4 transfers kind of sort of planned in my mind. So right now, as it stands, I have coverage on every day except the Monday night, same as you. So I'm happy to go into Friday with Pereira as captain. On the Saturday, I've just got the 2 Liverpool defenders, Van Dijk and Trent. And I could just stick with Van Dijk and take it on the chin. On the Sunday, I'm happy to captain Grealish, exactly the same as you. And then on the Wednesday night, when City take on West Ham, I've got Aguero or Mahrez, assuming that they get back and everything is all well and good. I'm sitting on Troy Deeney right now. He was a 1-week punt So I think what I may do is very similar to you. I've got more than enough money to get rid of Troy Deeney, bring in Tammy Abraham for that game, and then I've got my captaincy coverages for all 5, and then reassess what I'm going to do. So where I had 3 or 4 transfers planned for this overhaul midweek, hokey cokey, let's call it, just use the one, and then figure out what I'm going to do moving forward. And secondly, like, set your own goals now. I think for me, it's like, okay, what's a realistic good points total that I want for every single week until now and the end of the season? Chuck in the additional points that I want to get because of the transfers that I'm going to make each week, and just set that as my own personal target. So I'm now on, let's have a look, 1,800 points. Do you know, from just by chance, how many points the winner got last year? Would it be 3,500, 4,000?
I don't know, but when we looked at Dan Cox's winning year, he was averaging 75 a week, wasn't he?
Right, okay.
The whole season.
Right.
I'm pretty sure
so
that's what we looked at.
Going to be about 3,500. Let's say we're over halfway through the season. I'm at 1,800. So if I was to get to let's say another 1,000 points between now and the end of the year, that would leave me at 2,800 points. I'd happily take that. So I might set that as my own personal goal now: 1,000 points in the next 13 game weeks, or maybe even 70 points a week for the next however many game weeks, and crack on and try and get to that and see where it goes.
One benefit
and
for you is
also
you've
now,
still got a lot of transfers left,
I've
right?
got 20, which is decent, and I also
You can afford to take more gambles.
Yeah, I'll use this next 13 weeks as a bit of an experimentation in strategies and what have you. So yeah, I'm reassessing what I'm interested in now from this Sky point of view, and I will take a few more risks and a few more gambles on some risky captaincy. You know, like, if I hold on to Aguero and captain him for next Wednesday, when a lot of people will move off and go to Salah, Aguero hat-trick, Salah nothing, I'll get my 30, 40 points. But
I think my advice to you and others who have got multiple Manchester City players is to know that, yeah, it's going to hurt short term, but if you can hold your nerve and maybe sort of skip like Salah for the weekend, or maybe even skip the Monday night game, for example, you're going to be in a position where suddenly you're getting Man City Wednesday and Saturday. You may have been looking at the Leicester fixture and thinking, I'm not going to use De Bruyne in that. He'll be a powerful captain that day, potentially, if you hang on. So I think, like yourself, you know, where you've taken a gamble on, say, Troy Deeney, others might have done similar things. You could look, if you've gone a back 4, I don't know if there's a way working around sort of a Sheffield United player. Probably budget-wise, that's going to be really difficult to work around.
I came out of the overhaul with 3 million in the bank, mate.
That's okay.
Yeah, so Baldock could go, and I could have gotten maybe enough money to get a midfielder in. But
what I did with mine is I essentially looked and went goalkeeper, back 4, and added Adama Traore, and I looked at those 6 as essentially being dead to me. Mm-hmm. Like, they're staying.
Yep.
The only reason I don't add Jack Grealish to that list of potential dead is obviously they've got blank coming up 28. They could have blank 31 as well. So I think if that's the case, then I'm probably going to want to look to jump off him and see where I can make some gains over that period between match day 28 and match day 31. There might be like 5 for 2s, for example.
Yeah.
Depending on the April fixtures, it could even be like a 6 for 2. So I can't classify Jack Grealish as dead. And was looking at what I'd be looking at as maximum expenditure for essentially me having 3 forwards plus Richarlison's value. So I looked all the way through at all possible transfers up to the end of March and made sure I had the money left behind.
Yeah.
That's really important. And any moves that you're now, because we're all in a position where we're restructuring the moves, need to go and look at that again and make sure that's right. So if you were going to come off KDB, for example, and are now keeping, don't leave yourself in a position where the first move is going to give you problems for that second move and you're going to be out of money.
Yeah.
That's really important. So, yeah, I think for me, weekend-wise now, I will be like yourself. I'm going to captain Ricardo Pereira Friday. And it's interesting just having a look around sort of conversations and that online. It does look like Friday night is going to be very, very split on captaincies. I've seen Jimenez's, Traore's, Vardy's, Maddison's, Siyunku's, Pereira. Harvey Barnes, even 1 or 2 have just gone for that as their cheap coverage. So Friday night's going to be very split.
My original choice would have been to get Jimenez in had the City game taken place. Mahrez and Aguero would have gone. Jimenez and Salah would have come in, and Deeney would have gone as well.
My idea with Jimenez is to get him in for their following fixture, which is the Sunday against Norwich, knowing that I was going to make gains on other players.
Yep.
So that's why he didn't come in originally for me. And knowing that I had enough to cover through that Friday night captaincy, because Pereira was an absolute lock for me. Saturday, I think I'll go Salah. It's Salah, VVD, Trent, or Danny Ings for myself.
Salah.
I'm probably, by the way, going to captain Danny Ings the following Saturday, which is part why I've got him at the start. Sunday, I'm probably now Jack Grealish. My intention was to get Aubameyang in and captain him for Arsenal's home fixtures the next 2 Sundays, Newcastle and Everton. But I think because of the Man City change, I'm going to skip that now. Go Jack Grealish. And then Monday night, the intention is for me to go Salah to Abraham, 2-game jump, and then back.
I think with the Arsenal-Everton game the week after, you could even skip Aubameyang for that and just keep it on Richarlison. I think Richarlison's got a good chance of terrorising the Arsenal back four.
My intention now, as a reworked plan, is obviously to keep KDB for West Ham and Leicester, and then move KDB to Jimenez, because I've only got 2 forwards, right? Yeah. Go KDB to Jimenez that Sunday. That's my reworked plan.
So that Sunday will be Richarlison?
I'd go Jimenez at home to Norwich.
Oh, yeah, of course. If you've got him, then that makes perfect sense.
So that's my sort of reworked plan, looking slightly but not too far ahead. One that's really interesting for us, people in position like myself who've just gone KDB, is when that Man City team drops Wednesday night, and suddenly looking at it if Aguero's playing, for example. Because that's the sort of one where you can't help but think, it could go mental. It's that sort of fixture for him. Do you take the gamble then on the night once you've seen the team to put him in? Is a massive call. That's something else I'm going to have to think about next week. I might think that that's worth it then. But I've then also got to outweigh the fact that I then suddenly wouldn't captain KDB. Plenty to think about. I think a lot, if they haven't been on, see that Aguero's playing against West Ham, will dive in and go for it.
Yeah.
Particularly if they're hanging the Salah value.
Yeah, I don't mind that because obviously by that time you'll have had your Liverpool points and what have you. It will be very interesting to see what happens with that game. I'm just having a look. I didn't know. It is televised. So the City game is televised.
Yes,
looking forward to it.
It's on Sky. It's a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. I won't be watching because I'll be at the lane for Champions League football. Mm-hmm. So it'll be of no interest to me. I'll just wait and see the team make a decision, then because I'll know it at 6:30 when our Spurs don't kick off till 8, and then I won't take any notice of it from there. Just a note on City. Those who've listened to our other pods will know my original expectation, if there was no early announcement, was that the game would get moved to the midweek of match day 29 in between the Manchester United and Burnley fixtures for Manchester City.
Yep.
There is, for those who listened to this podcast last Wednesday, still the potential that Manchester City and Arsenal could go on that date, Wednesday, March the 11th. And there's also a small possibility, if planned ahead, that I think Manchester City and Chelsea from match day 31, I know Ben Crellin thinks this is a possibility, could get brought forward to that date as well. Obviously, if one or both of those are into the FA Cup quarterfinals, that match day 31 fixture we anticipate is off. We think with a bit of pre-planning that could get brought forward as well. So do be conscious that you may well want to go straight back into City, even for that fixture at Old Trafford on Sunday, March the 8th. That'll work out then. And then you've got City Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday for 3 games where you are not missing any. I think it's any Liverpool maybe. You can make those dives, so just be cautious of that.
Should we do a few Twitter questions?
Yeah, let's do that.
As we always do, because we are basically the best. We've answered a few of the Twitter questions in our conversation anyway. We telepathically have figured out what people want to know before we even talk about it.
Okay.
So the good thing is that this greatness, because we are the best.
I don't like this talk.
I just thought I'd
we got Joe and Luke doing a stream tomorrow. I know the Hub guys because Andrew Ferguson got stuck.
I'm not talking about Sky specifically. I'm just talking in general as human beings, mate. We're the greatest of all time.
My ego is not as inflated as yours.
That's a debate for a Twitter poll. People's poll coming up at you. Anyway, if you want this greatness, download the Planet FPL app if you use an Android phone. Go to Google Play. All of our content's available on there. I thought I'd just get a quick plug in for the app. And thank you for all the lovely people that said nice things about it. It's not like a massive all singing, all dancing. It's just a nice home for all of our content on Android. iOS is on the way. I've been told by the developers that they're like on their keyboards.
Okay.
Hopefully within 2 weeks we should have iOS up and running as well, but I'll keep you posted on that.
So you know I've got an Android phone?
Correct.
I've got the app.
Correct.
So I thought it was Android that was the issue for the app.
No. Apple.
Oh, Apple's the issue.
Yeah. iPhones. iOS is Apple.
Okay.
Yeah. Android is all good.
That's why she was saying, I can't get it.
Oh, she uses an iPhone, does she?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Let's start with Azuri Fox. How are you? Salah dilemma. Do you hold or sell City assets or risk hiding behind the sofa while Salah and co run riot at Carrow Road? I mean, don't discount that. Norwich did a job on City at Carrow Road.
Some time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I wouldn't put it past them to stick 8 men behind the ball and
but then
suck out the space for Liverpool.
That doesn't fulfil your confidence to go, I can go VVD captain, for example, when you say, Norwich scored 3 times against Man City, twice against Chelsea, twice against Tottenham, twice against Arsenal. Also scored against Manchester United, I believe. Scored at home to Wolves, scored at home to Sheffield United. So they've actually scored in a lot of their bigger home games this season.
Yeah.
So look, I'm happy that I'll be captaining Salah on Saturday because he's in my squad. But I think if you're in a position where it's get in for the one game now and you've not started with it, I'd be very tempted to stick to my guns and not do it.
Dav, sorry, I was going to say Dan, but at Davlar1234, is the Manchester United versus Chelsea game a good captaincy skip, or would you like to cover, every game?
I want to cover it, and it's part because there's gains to had. So Suj just gave himself an electric shock.
For the third time, we might add. For the third time. Manchester needs to fix the camera.
I think for me, as a Salah owner, I can get Abraham, for example. It doesn't have to be Abraham. Go with whoever you fancy. But I can get Abraham for 2 home fixtures and a captaincy. So 3 potential returns over versus going back to Salah for the West Ham fixture on the Monday night. So Chelsea play at home to Man United, at home to Tottenham. I think getting Abraham in for 2 fixtures, including a captaincy, feels worth it.
I'm with you on that.
Personally. Depends what you're selling to get to it.
Plus, the other thing is transfers as well.
Exactly.
How many transfers do you have left?
If you're on probably under 10, I would say.
Yep.
Skip.
And over 10, you can probably afford to do it. Over 12.
It's questionable.
12 to 14.
I'm on 17, so I think it's worth it. I think under 14, you're probably asking questions of yourself, and you probably would have tried to fit something in. I was always in a position as well where if I was to skip it, I was okay with it. Because do I really think Abraham's going to bang against Man United, for example? No, not particularly, but I think I'm in a position I can do it. So I wouldn't be fussed for people skipping it. And there's nothing obvious as well. It's not like skipping, the big hitters in the Liverpool game at the weekend against Norwich, or the big Man City hitters against West Ham once you've got that team news. I think a lot of us were looking at like Reece James, Fred, cheapy options to fit. And what I wanted with those guys is, like I said, I wanted them to be dead players. So once they were in, they were in. And I couldn't justify going for any of them over Siunku, in my opinion. So it's a dip in and dip out for me.
Tomasz Kucharski, we've answered this, but let's just confirm it in writing with our voices. Kun to Salah, or save the transfer and captain one of the Liverpool defenders and have Aguero ready for Wednesday. I think if you've got not that many transfers, I just think leave it. Because then you can get the Saturday fixture as well, and then move back to Salah for the Monday night. So, and that Tom has confirmed is his plan as well. Anyway, so that's all good.
Yeah, I think it's a skip. The one that's annoyed me with the whole KDB thing is, like I said, Aubameyang. I think that's now in an odd perverse way. It's going to save me a transfer now from my planning actually.
So FPL Weasel, who says the best, we've covered our captain picks over this weekend, but he's asking the best captain picks over the weekend. Maybe Aubameyang on Sunday or what have you. So Friday night, Vardy at home.
Well, no, it's at Molineux, isn't it?
Oh, is it Vardy or Jimenez potentially?
Yeah, that's very close.
Yeah, there's not a very clear one on that.
I'd be inclined at the moment to say Jimenez just.
On the Saturday, Salah. On the Sunday, Aubameyang.
I think Aubameyang, yeah.
And then the Monday night, probably Abraham.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Abraham.
And then Wednesday, Aguero selected, if not KDB.
Yeah.
I would say.
Tim Salter, Tim_Salter_. What would you rather win, Sky Fantasy Football or FPL?
Oh, Sky.
And I knew you were going to say that, and I would have said the same. So he's added a second comment into his tweet.
Okay.
Money aside.
FPL,
I think as
I'm
well.
afraid,
I think the coverage and exposure and glory and that. Think about the fame and the money and the women and everything that come with FPL. Fantasy football winner.
It's too late for the women.
Tabloid press, everything, mate, everything. I think FPL.
Money
aside, FPL.
Bigger pool of players, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. And a bigger market and all the rest of it. But Sky's been good to us. Lee Williams, is Richarlison worth keeping for the difficult fixtures in the next month? Had planned to remove him for KDB last game week. I suppose first thing to do is if you go into the Sky app and go into the statistics or midfielders, he's the second highest scoring midfielder this season for a reason. He's outscored so many good players. I know that there's a lot of midfielders in FPL who are forwards in Sky, so that there's a little impact, but he's been so consistent. And the thing with Richarlison and his style of football is he's an all-action player. So it could be tackles, or it could be passes, or it could be shots. Like when it comes to tier bonuses, he's in for all of them. Some people you'll know will just be passing only or tackling only. Richarlison can be anything. So I honestly think, yeah. And, you know, his goal at the weekend, I thought, just was him at his best. Aggressive, forward-thinking, let me get on the ball and make things happen. You remember the game we played at Goodison earlier this season where they beat us? He terrorised us because he was in that kind of mood. And under Ancelotti, he has been. So for me, yeah, I mean, I think I've just said yes, basically. A long way to just say yes, hold Richarlison.
Yeah, that's the decision I took very early on. When you start building the overhaul, I think most of us started with, do I want a Saturday captain? For me, that was an obvious call, Richarlison, or almost not bother, unless you was going to go like a dead player, like a Holgate or something. Thank goodness I didn't. I saw a few having to change that about last minute on Saturday morning. So yeah, okay, look, it's Arsenal, Manchester United and Chelsea coming up. They're all on Sundays, which is interesting. I think there are definitely better captaincy options on all of those days than Richarlison. But if you're in a position where, I don't know, you were planning to go KDB to Aubameyang and Richarlison is now your only coverage for Sunday, if you've not got a Grealish or an Aurier or something like that, yeah, it's absolutely fine to captain Richarlison at Arsenal on Sunday. I think he's staying. I think one of the reasons he's staying is, like I said as well, he might, by the time that match day 31 Saturday comes round, he might be the best captaincy option. And actually, just to leave him in there when he does tick over points very nicely in any case, I think's fine for me. Plus, if I'm going without KDB for that period, unless I was to try and force in, I don't know, Andrew Robertson as well, for example, I don't really need the money that he's holding in for me. So I think for me, he's going to stay.
Couldn't agree with you more. I think he's going to be staying for me as well. That was all the Twitter questions.
Oh, okay, done.
Very straightforward.
Well, I only sent it out just before we started.
Yeah, true. And we are in this limbo land midweek. There's some really funny and strange and good FPL content this week. I listened to the Cheaters Ask Me Anything. It's like everybody's in this. We ain't got any football to talk about, so let's just chat about anything and everything. So it is quite funny to see some FPL content that's just not FPL this week for a lot of people. And did you see, just giving a plug to the main podcast where we do a Q&A, did you see the answer to the toilet roll holder question?
I did. We got it wrong.
Did we?
Yeah.
I thought we got it right. Anyway, if you want to know more about toilet roll, then make sure that you download the Planet FPL app or find us on Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Acast, and a million other places. And listen to the main pod where we talk about toilet roll for a couple of minutes or a minute, maybe.
Beautiful.
Tomorrow we have Clash of the Correspondents.
Yes, Adam Hopcroft, Ricky Saunders, a focus on Aston Villa and Tottenham ahead of the Sunday fixture.
And then Friday we got something special coming at you. So we'll be releasing more information about that over the next couple of days, ready to drop on
think
Friday.
The Sky players who also play FPL will enjoy that on Friday.
Right. Well, we'll have some. We'll drip feed out some teasers.
And yes, Sky players are more than welcome to Planet FPL Live 3 on February 22nd in Manchester. Please do come.
Yes.
No wind is going to stop that event from happening.
Storm Dennis is on its way, but I think we'll be all right.
We'll be fine. What is it the following weekend? Storm Come On Eileen or something?
Let's see. Thank you for tuning in to Planet FPL, Planet Sky FF this time round. We'll be back at you with all our FPL content. Do hit like, subscribe, share. Chuck your comments in on what you're going to be doing with your City assets to hold or not to hold. And we'll be back at you with more content ASAP. Ciao for now.
Good luck, everybody. Cue music, man-child.
The Fantasy Football Show.